What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Man here. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the climbing gym. I just actually came home from the climbing gym. It was super hot. I can tell you, at least 30 degrees Celsius down there in this basement where this gym is located. Vienna is suffering under a little bit of a heat wave at the moment, which should peak this Wednesday or this Thursday. So not really a lot of opportunity to go outdoors for climbing, actually, just indoor training in the heat, sweating a lot basically. Despite that, it was a really good session. I went balls to the walls, had a nice 4-hour monster session, got a couple of things done, and one of these things was actually the creation of a few hypertrophy boulders. Now, I got the camera out and filmed a little bit of the process so that I can share some of the thoughts here with you guys that go into this basically. Now, what is hypertrophy actually? This is the process of creating new muscle tissue or making the muscle tissue that you already have bigger, which is of course the first requirement for getting stronger at some point. You know, the second requirement would be intramuscular coordination, which actually allows you to coordinate your newly gained muscle tissue a little bit better to yet again get stronger. But this comes after hypertrophy, of course, because to coordinate something new better, you gotta have it in the first place. So we are gonna start with hypertrophy, and I'm planning to go in a little bit of a hypertrophy phase in the near future. That's why I'm creating a little bit a few hypertrophy boulders here. So when it comes to number of moves and intensity, basically we are lying in between power endurance and max strength when it comes to hypertrophy. So power endurance, that would be 15 to 20 moves. Max strength would be 2 to 3 moves. So we lie here at 8 to 10 moves when it comes to hypertrophy boulders. Now, the thing is, when you're building a hypertrophy boulder, you want your boulder to be as pure when it comes to hold types as possible. So you're gonna make one training boulder for edges, you're gonna make one for side pulls, one for pinches, one for slopers, one for underclings, one for Gaston moves, and then you already have 6 different boulders. That's enough for a good training session, I would say. But you can go, you can do more various stuff. Okay, you can do pockets, you can do all sorts of stuff basically. Okay, what you have in mind. But you don't really need more than 6 different boulders, I would say. Okay, so I'm always aiming at 5 actually. 5 is enough for if you're not used to this training in the first place. Okay, so 5 different boulders with pure hold types, 8 to 10 single moves, and the third requirement is that all of these moves ideally should be equally hard. So you don't want like move number 5 to be a super hard crux move of the boulder. Okay, you want homogeneous problems, and the reason for that is that you're gonna repeat these problems a couple of times during the process of training hypertrophy. And of course, when you're getting exhausted, you don't want to fall off at move number 5 all the time, because then you only get 5 repetitions in and then you're not in hypertrophy anymore, or to a lesser degree. Okay, so you want these moves to be homogeneous essentially. Now, as you could see, I just finished off my edge boulder there. I tested it and I found, okay, that feels roughly right in terms of intensity. So I decided to make a little bit of a sketch of it. Now, why do I do that? I simply don't want to forget my boulders, okay? So if you invent 6 different boulders in one session, there's kind of a probability that you're gonna forget something, okay? So I have my little notebook here. There I make a little bit of a sketch of the boulder, and then I remember everything when I come back to train that stuff actually. Now, of course, a system board, as you see it here, is the ideal playground when it comes to inventing these different problems, okay? The next thing that I tried here was actually an undercling problem. Normally I go edges, pinches, slopers, but this undercling sequence jumped to my eye somehow, so I decided I tried to make a little bit of an undercling problem here. It doesn't need to be pretty, it doesn't need to be logical. You don't have to make it complicated when it comes to stepping and stuff. You don't have to say, oh, it's only screw-ons for stepping or only hand-foot for stepping. Okay, I keep it simple here. I simply step everything. This is also gonna allow me to really dial it in when it comes to difficulty. Okay, maybe I redefine a foothold or something when I have the feeling, okay, the sequence is a little bit too easy, or a little bit too hard. Okay, so I can really dial it in with the difficulty if I allow myself to just simply step everything. So that's why I do that. And yet again, such a system board is ideal for this because the hold density and therefore also the foothold density is as high as it can be, as you can see. So yeah, that's the thoughts that go into creating hypertrophy boulders. We've got 5 different boulders, which are pure in terms of hold types. You want 8 to 10 moves per boulder. All the moves should be equally as hard so that you don't have crux moves where you're always gonna fall off once you start repeating these boulders. That's basically the basics here. I hope you enjoyed this little tutorial on how to create hypertrophy boulders. I'm pretty sure in the near future I'm gonna start training on my hypertrophy boulders, and then I'm gonna make a little bit of a follow-up episode on how to actually do that, how to actually train on the hypertrophy boulders. So yeah, let's train hypertrophy together. I hope you're as psyched as I am. Basically, I am pretty psyched, although it's super hot, and I hope this heat wave is gonna go away actually somewhat soon, so that I can go outside and hit some hard stuff outside again. But until then, we're gonna get some sick strength in the gym. So I hope you're on board. I'll see you soon. Have a good training. Keep crushing, and bye.